Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you very much. Please, if you have a place to sit, please be seated. It's indeed an honor and a privilege this evening to welcome the cast and crew of, I think, my favorite television show, The West Wing, here to the White House. Before we begin, however, this evening, I want to touch on the hurricane that is approaching the Florida coast, the northeast, northwest Florida coast, that is, up in the Panhandle. And I want to say that I'm emerging that all people in the path of the storm, please heed the evacuation orders. This is a deadly storm that's approaching the Panhandle of Florida. The reports that we're receiving are there's going to be massive storm surge, and it's going to be from what the indications that we're hearing, the reports we're getting in here to the Situation Room, it's going to be a devastating hit to that part of the state. So I urge all residents that are in the path of this storm to evacuate now, to heed the warnings, and to get out of harm's way. My administration will do everything in its power to get the resources there. I did that already yesterday by declaring a disaster area. That gets the federal resources in place for the response. I've been in touch with Governor DeSantis, and we've been coordinating a response. And everything that he needs on the ground in Florida, he'll get. But we do jointly ask that everyone who's in the path of this storm to please heed the warnings of local and state officials, and please evacuate. Well, in a much brighter story, it is indeed an honor this evening to be here in the East Room, and have President Bartlett with me here tonight. It's always good to have a former commander-in-chief in your presence. You know, today we celebrate not just a television show, but a cultural phenomena that started 25 years ago. It captured the heart of a nation. The West Wing, it was more than just an hour of TV each week. For many of us, it became an experience, an education, and a source of hope. I remember when The West Wing first aired. Like many of you, I was drawn to the fast-paced dialogue, the larger-than-life characters, and the drama unfolding in the halls of the White House. They still unfold in the halls of the White House. I found myself eagerly waiting for the next episode, pulled in by the blind optimism and realism that defined every moment of the show. You know, and all these years later, I'm still watching it. Yes, even as I stand before you today as your commander-in-chief and your leader, I still turn to the West Wing, maybe now more than ever. And I had to admit, the other night, Sunday night, was the actual 25th anniversary of the actual airing of the very first episode. And I watched the very first episode at the time it was aired. That's just something that is really phenomenal. You know, maybe more than ever, we look up to the West Wing. But why? Because the themes it tackled back then are just more relevant now than they were back then. It showed the value of democracy, of compromise, and the tireless work required to move our nation forward. You know, every episode reminds us of the challenges and responsibilities that come with leadership. And it does bring you back to a time in our nation's history where there was compromise, where there wasn't hatred, where there wasn't polarization. And if you and I disagreed on an issue, it wasn't that I hated you or wanted to destroy you. We just disagreed on the issues. You know, watching it now from the vantage point of experience, it gives me a deeper appreciation for what the show did so well. It made the abstract workings of government feel personal. It captured the humanity behind policy decisions. and showed that at the end of the day, leadership is about the people. It's about listening, debating, and doing everything you can to make life better for those you serve. For those of us who continue to revisit the West Wing, and I deeply am one of those people, we do so because it's a reminder of what public service is supposed to be. It's an idealistic vision, but it's one we can always strive toward. The fictional president, Bartlett, and his team were never perfect. They made their mistakes, but they worked every day to do the right thing. They fought for whatever they believed in, made difficult decisions, and showed us that governments, while flawed, is always worth fighting for. You know, having been in the Oval Office and being in there for real, it's all inspiring to see the West Wing and see how it's portrayed. It's also humbling the reminder of the weight of the responsibility on the shoulders of anyone who serves this country. You know, when I watch it now, I not only see the challenges faced by those fictional characters, but the very real parallels to the work that we do here every day. You know, and so as we commemorate the 25th anniversary, I want to acknowledge how much the West Wing still means to us. It's more than just a show we enjoyed years ago. It's a reflection of the best of who we are and who we can be. It reminds us that even in times when times are tough, when politics seems to vicious and progress feels slow, we can still come together and serve a common good. You know, let's carry forward together the lessons that the West Wing had taught us about courage, integrity, and the pursuit of justice, and let's keep believing in the promise of a government that works for its people. And really, that's what it's all about. Everyone in this building, I know for a fact everyone in this building, I can't speak for everyone in this town, but everyone in this building came to this job to work for the American people. The ultimate goal of this administration, and this goes back to a good friend of mine, and she's a principal at a charter school in Texas. And her saying every day to the students of that school is, "You want to leave it better than you found it." That should be the goal of every president who occupies this office, to leave it better than you found it. And I can tell you that we are doing our very best in this administration to lead this country better than we found it. And we will continue that job until the end. We will continue that job. We will continue to leave it better than we found it. You know, and it also, the show also, it talks about the parallels, and there were differences. There were differences in the parties, but there was also agreements. And like I just mentioned, there wasn't the hatred that there is now. Yeah, they disagreed on policy, but you did not hate one another. We need to return to those days in this city. We need to return to those days in this nation. For if we do that, there's nothing beyond our capacity that we can accomplish in this country. I want to thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless our troops, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you all very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.